There is a meme in the Paper Mario remake that's so old it predates meme culture itself, as it's a meme that first appeared in the original GameCube game 20 years ago, from a time well before anyone knew what the heck a meme was. And since it was already a somewhat obscure reference unless you were following news of the game, the meaning of this meme will be nearly indecipherable to anyone who didn't live through those ancient times. Which also means
I'm old!
So as an ancient gaming scholar, I'm here to decipher this meme for all you younger gamers out there. Okay, so here's the deal. In Chapter 4, For Pigs the Bell Tolls, you'll eventually happen upon a hapless parrot, who at first seems to be your typical run-of-the-mill parrot, and behaves as you'd expect a parrot to, making squawking sounds or reciting simple phrases that he's heard. But if you manage to hide out of view, you'll discover that he's a lot smarter than he lets on, and can speak entirely original thoughts. But as soon as you re-emerge from the shadows, he'll freak out and desperately try to convince you he's nothing more than a stereotypical parrot, by parroting anything that comes to mind that he's heard before, such as, pretty bird, pretty bird. But if you choose to talk to him again while he's stressing out, you'll find that he has one more thing to say. Shine get, shine get. What does that mean? Now I know what that means, but do you? If not, you might first make the connection to the shine sprites you can find all throughout the game, which you use to upgrade your partner's abilities. And you wouldn't be entirely wrong, but that's far from the full story, because those shine sprites, along with Toadsworth and the Piantas, were all lifted from Super Mario Sunshine, which was released just a couple of years before the original GameCube version of the Thousand Year Door, making it the hot new Mario thing to reference. And while even younger Mario fans will easily recognize that as a source of those three elements, the specific phrase, shine get, was nowhere to be found in Super Mario Sunshine. Well, at least not any version of the game that most of the world played, because it's actually a phrase that's exclusive to the Japanese version of the game, appearing whenever Mario grabbed a shine sprite. But that phrase is shortened to just shine in the international versions. But by then, it was already too late, because prior to its release, most of the Super Mario Sunshine trailers and gameplay videos all prominently featured the original Japanese phrase, shine get, which of course isn't quite grammatically correct by English standards, even if it does sound way cooler. And the internet went wild over this incongruity. It was practically impossible to read about the game online without seeing that phrase referenced in some way, whether on gaming message boards, guides, or even professional articles. Even IGN featured it prominently, including in an article that insightfully explained that calling shine get broken English isn't exactly accurate, as it was never meant to be English at all, but instead is a Japanese phrase that uses Roman characters as shorthand for the English equivalent of you get a shine. Shine get became so commonplace that a GameFAQs guide from that same year lamented how overused it had become. And the website Planet GameCube even ran an entire article a few days prior to the US release about how the phrase wouldn't make the cut in the international versions. They titled the article as Shine Get Stays in Japan and Planet GameCube Staffers Mourn, with a subtitle reading, Those who are sick of the phrase rejoice, I'm not one of them, shine get. I respect that. Even GameSpy, it used to be a huge website kids, complained prominently in the review about the phrase being cut from the English version of the game. So yeah, clearly people really latched onto it for whatever reason. It was like a magical elixir of unusual wording, perfect length, while still retaining a clear enough meaning, all in an official Mario game, which might have been why it resonated with Nintendo fans in a way that few phrases had before or since. Of course, Mario posing prominently alongside that phrase every single time it appeared was practically tailor-made for it to become meme material. We may never see anything quite like that again, with it having been born during the World Wide Web's earlier years, in a time when Nintendo was less aware of the internet in general, and largely unconcerned with how gameplay might be perceived on the worldwide scale. Which is all why it was so unexpected that phrase reappeared a couple of years later as a joke in an official Mario game of all places, from a company that's historically been rather reserved and rarely, if ever, referenced online culture in its games. The idea of seeing a parrot parroting a meme itself in an official Nintendo game in a time when memes didn't really exist, at least by that word, was unfathomable. And with how overplayed the phrase had been just a couple of years earlier, it could almost be read as less of an intentionally funny reference and more as fourth wall breaking commentary on what would become meme culture, with silly phrases being brainlessly parroted to the point of parody. And in that context, it fits perfectly within the themes of Chapter 4, which features surprisingly intelligent talking birds that seem to have a better grasp on human problems than we do ourselves. Whatever the intended depth of this reference may be, it was a fun and funny surprise for Mario fans to uncover, and it's just one of the myriad reasons why the Thousand Year Door is so cherished even all these years later. To the point that even Nintendo knew not to mess with a good thing and left the Easter egg completely untouched in the Switch remake. Even if almost no one born since 2002 will understand it. At least that is, unless they watch this video. Speaking of which, make sure to subscribe to make sure you don't miss out on all of our other Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door videos and everything else Nintendo as well. And with that, thanks for watching, and let us know in the comments on whether you got the Shine Get Easter egg originally, or whether this is all news to you. And on that note, we'll catch you later. Bye everyone!